Malaysia is among the top 2 leading producers of palm oil the world over. The industry employs around 600,000 people. Joining us now to discuss the palm oil industry is Tan Sri Bernard Dompok, the Minister of Plantation Industries and Commodities in Malaysia. Minister, it's great to have you. I think down south, the profile of palm oil is very minimal. We don't really know what palm oil is. We don't really understand it as an industry. Give us a sense of where the commercial viability is.
Well, thank you very much for having me here today. I think Africa as a whole is not actually a continent that is not familiar with the oil palm industry, because the first seedling that came to Malaysia was in fact from West Africa. I don't quite know which part of West Africa, but it was from West Africa. And today, I think we talk about one of the leading countries. There was a time when we were actually the leading producer of palm oil until Indonesia took over a couple of years ago. But it's our most important crop, agricultural crop, in Africa. I think in South Africa itself, we I think export about 200,000 tons of palm oil in many forms, from olein, stearin, and that's what you use to make soap, candles, and so on, for cooking oil, and so on. So I think the presence is here already. It's just that people had not focused on it, because a lot of cooking oil, for example, is through other oil seeds, and therefore there's not been much focus on palm oil.
Just reading about palm oil, preparing for this interview, there is a sense that it's regarded as a lower grade oil, and what's fashionable today are things like olive oil, and so it's a bit relegated, palm oil, and there is a need to boost the profile.
In a way, it's a new oil. It is in fact the most productive oil. For every hectare of land that is utilized for the production or for the planting of palm oil, you could get 10 times more than if you were planting, in fact, other oil seeds. And so therefore it's very productive. The reason why the palm oil is not getting the profile that other oil seeds are getting is that I feel that there's a lot of bias against the oil. A lot of the NGOs, for example, in Western countries, do not like the oil because it's very competitive, and I think a lot of them are also saying that this oil is responsible for deforestation knowledge, which is not quite true, because it's only a small fraction of land that is set aside for the planting of oil palm throughout the world.
Those NGOs have the ear of the World Bank, for instance, that's now calling for a one policy approach to palm oil before they can support palm oil initiatives. Just looking at Malaysia, for instance, they say that palm oil industry has come at great cost to the environment, that you've used up 30-fold of the land mass initially set aside, and it's created a whole problem for biodiversity because you've taken up a lot of land that was previously used by nature, etc., and that's a problem.
I think Malaysia has been a very responsible part of the world community. We have made a commitment at the Rio Summit in 1992 that 50% of our land will be set aside for forest. It will be permanently under forest cover. Today we still have something like 56% under forest cover. And the oil palm itself does not grow in the rest of the 50% that we have. Malaysia has 5.85 million hectares of land under palm oil, and I think we are looking after it very well. And we have in fact reached the tail end of our quest for more land to be utilized, because there just isn't enough land anymore, and because of the fact that we have committed to ensure that more than 50% of our land comes under forest cover.
And does that explain your trip to South Africa? Because apparently you're also traveling to Morocco and also to Nigeria. Nigeria, as you said, is the largest African producer of palm oil, but ironically they're also a net importer of palm oil. So there is a bit of a disconnect when it comes to farming of palm oil, trading palm oil, and making it commercially viable for small-scale farmers here.
Well, yes, indeed. I think my trip here today is to ensure that the right information flows out of our country to the consuming world, that we have a crop here that is cultivated taking into account the interests of everybody. We are committed to seeing that the principles of the 3 Ps are observed: people, planet, and profit. And I would like to think that we are doing it in that order.
Exactly.
And therefore, I'm here in Johannesburg. We had a seminar today. Then after this, I'm going to Lagos, Nigeria. I've already covered Cameroon on a different occasion, and so I think I'm here to explain whatever it takes for us to explain that this crop is a crop that is friendly to the forests of the world.
We've run out of time, Minister, but I do want to know if you do form collaborations with African partners. Where's the investment case? Like I say, Nigeria produces, but they're also a net importer of palm oil. There's a sense that it's still happening with small-scale farmers. They need funding, they need the implements. Banks are not going to support them. There's still a huge investment case that needs to be put forward here.
I think in some of the countries in the African continent which can grow palm oil, we certainly can assist them technically. What we have learned over the years can be passed on to the farmers and to those companies who are interested in planting palm oil. And I think for South Africa, for instance, I do not think that oil palm will grow here. But there, of course, collaboration in the downstream of the industry, and that's what I'm seeing here today. There are Malaysian companies here involved in the downstream of the palm oil industry, and I think it's a good way of cooperating.